Matthew 19, one of my favorite statements. Jesus said these words. They asked Christ a question. Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any and what? Every reason. That's the Bahamians now, boy. They get divorced for any reason. You look at me funny, I go into the courtroom. You burn the food, forget that. That's it. It's out. That's it. You know, people just getting divorced for all kind of stuff today. He answered them, haven't you read that at the beginning the Creator made them male and female? He ignored the question and went back to the recipe. They asked him about divorce. He went back to something different. He went back to male and female. He said divorce is not the problem. Divorce is a symptom. Something went wrong with the product that fell apart. And the product fell apart because the ingredients that were used were not right. Do you see the connection? Divorce comes from marriage. Marriage comes from male and female. He says if you have a divorce issue, it's because if you go down to the lowest denominator, something was wrong with the ingredients. If your cake is salty, what happened? Come on, tell me. You put salt in it before you bake it? In other words, it ain't the cake. Don't blame the cake. It's what you put in the cake. So the ingredients determine the product. We keep wanting the perfect cake and putting a lot of salt in the flour when we mix it. We keep expecting success when we are building with failure. We want perfection with defects. Somehow we think that a miracle happens at the altar. You know, that slow sign shoes and that big white dress. We figure, man, that person got to be perfect. That dress looked too nice. Sometimes the greatest curse is coming down the aisle. Or sometimes the biggest demon is waiting there with. And you smile all your way up to the demon. And your Father who loves you hands you over. Nothing changes in that church. Nothing. What came in goes out with you. That's life. So he says, look, he says the problem is something went wrong at the foundation level. The male and female was contaminated, he says. Something was not right with the individuals, the singles. So he took it back to the singles. He said God didn't make marriage first. He said no, the marriage is not God's main issue. God's main issue is male and female. He said that's what God began with. So he placed the priority where it belongs. And he says, for this reason should a man leave his mother and father and be united to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. What reason? The word there is beginning, male and female. Go back and find out what kind of male and female God used in the beginning. That's what makes the thing work. So any male after chapter 3 of Genesis and any female after chapter 3 of Genesis, you got to pray hard. Because you got yourself a fallen male and a corrupted female, and you still want God's perfect product. That's what he's talking about. He's saying, look, God didn't start with the junk you guys are. Y'all are junk. You got to come back and get fixed up first. Then try God's product again. And this is why we need to come to the manufacturer. Not to be religious. You need to get fixed. Because if you don't get him to fix you, you're going to fix somebody when you marry them. Unless you get the people in your life, they're causing you more heartache than anyone could imagine. You like the person who loves you beating you up. It's confusing. So here's the issue then. Your marriage is only as good as your singleness. Write that down. People come to me all the time. I want you to pray for my marriage. I'm sitting there going, now let's see. Which one do I need to pray for? Her or him? Because marriage ain't the problem. You in the marriage. You, if it ain't working, you are part of this equation. A lady came one time, she says, the devil is in my marriage. I said, yep. You're right. There are two of them. You bring to the marriage what you are as a single. No more, no less. So don't walk around pretending that this thing is his fault or her fault. Listen, even in relationships, I'm not talking about, let's jump back from marriage a little bit. Let's go back just to relationships. Here you are, you meet somebody, and you all have an interest in each other. But listen, it's still the same thing. Whatever you bring to the relationship, that's what it is. Whatever the other person brings, that's what it is. It ain't no mystery in this. So you don't think, well, because we come together, then there can be something better that we create. No. Whatever you are, that's what you create. So it's more important for you to make sure you bring the best to the relationship, which means that you got to become the best before you bring the best. So you focus on yourself to become the best, so that when you work on working you together with someone, you bring the best contribution to them. A lot of people are defects, not assets. They will devalue you by association. They will destroy your value.